Hello, everyone. Today is September 4th, 2024, and welcome to the Working Group Serving weekly meeting. As usual, we'll go through the workstream updates, and then a new format will be we'll be also doing a sub-project updates after that, and then go get into the open topics if we have any. So if you have any topics, please add them now. Okay, let's first for orchestration, I don't think there's any update since we are pretty much oriented by different sub-projects, unless anyone here wants to add. By the way, if you have any topics that you want us to organize a dedicated meeting for around orchestration, let me know and I can help arrange that. Okay, move on for DRA. Any update? I know Sergey is probably late or out today. Is John here?
I think John's also out.
Okay.
Double check.
Yeah, well.
John has a conflict.
Okay. Okay, auto scaling. Do we have any updates on that?
I don't think we have any updates on that. I was away on vacation last week and I'm not sure anything happened. We'll pick things up this week though.
Okay. Sounds good. Multi-host.
Yeah. Last week I have a to-do item to confirm the preview disaggregation progress in the inference engine communities. I talked with the like VLM and the SG-Long maintainers, and they gave some updates. I think this is postponed again due to like a few reasons. The first is there's a lot of like technical challenges. I think one concrete one is the in VRM they are still working on the like the parallelism settings. Current existing work can support the same TP and the PP parallelism across the preview and decode machines. But it's hard to support like different parallelisms between those two like workers. I think the primary problem is still the KV transfer. If the parallelism is different, it needs to dynamically choose the decode machines and share the KV states. That takes a lot of efforts to support such cases, which makes the work like a little bit delayed. And scenario-wide, I think both maintainers they are great. Like these features work better for those like long context and. But for like very short context, I think the benefits is not that a lot as paper mentioned. At the same time, there's some other like high priority stories like the intra-device communication. So NanoFlow recently released, and as they mentioned, they observed like 30% of the performance gains. That's the most priority, most highest priority in the feature list. And there's also like scheduler optimizations. And I think SG-Long in the last version launched the like performance improvement. VRM is also working on that. And there's also like touch compile support. I think those are high priority list comparing to the preview disaggregation features. I think after that, they will come back to the preview disaggregation. And the timeline cannot be finalized yet. But yeah, so that's the overall, I think, updates from the two communities.
Thank you, Jashin. I wonder if it's a good idea to summarize some of the challenges and high priority stories to this stack so that we can also solicit feedback from others.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. I'll I'll summarize them in the doc after the meeting. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that way all the nodes won't be spread it out everywhere, and there's a centralized place to view the challenges. We can easily organize discussions around the key problems.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, anyone want to add regarding multi-host? Okay, let's move on. For sub-project updates,
Yeah, I
instance
can
gateway, Callan.
take that.
Okay.
The bullet point says it all, but we are having our first weekly meeting tomorrow. We'll probably switch to just quick summarizations in this meeting and kind of talk about the guts of everything going on with Instance Gateway in that Thursday meeting. I have it set for an hour. Likely won't take that long for at least the first meeting. Would love to have all interested parties join. That's it.
Yeah, if anyone, anyone wants to attend, but you don't see the calendar invite, let me know. Usually, if you join, once you join the mailing list for this working group, you should receive an invite. But let me know if not. Okay, serving catalog. Edwin?
Yeah. I can
Jason?
take this.
Okay.
Edwin posted a PR for 405B multi-host, which is pretty cool. If people want to take a look, it's like the first edition of another paradigm using leader worker set. And then otherwise, I've been working on some internal stuff, but hoping to get back to contributing to this the next 2 weeks.
Cool. Yeah, please review if you are interested. If there's anything specific you wanna discuss regarding that PR, we can also discuss in this meeting. All right. Anything else? Any other sub-project I may have missed? Okay. Open topics. Nothing's on the list yet. This is your chance.
I don't have a specific topic. I was gonna actually suggest, Jan, like maybe we should have a smaller meeting to go through the problems to be solved and like really like just try to flesh out, make sure we haven't missed anything. Maybe and I don't think it would have to be closed. I wasn't prepared to do it right now because I have to
Right.
have a conflict at 12:30, but I would like to actually spend a focused amount of time with folks who have strong opinions about the challenges and those who are actively looking for multiple features or multiple improvements to make sure we have a really good list, and then we can present it for next time. Maybe if we could set aside time to meet to do that.
Yeah, we can probably discuss it before next weekly meeting so that we have something to present.
That would be a good way to maybe, I think we need to make a definitive determination on what things would be covered in 132 beyond just the DRA stuff. So it's kind of it would be good to describe the problems and look for the areas that we want to dive into.
Yeah, how do we want to organize that? Yeah, I'm thinking maybe like all the active work stream leads at least need to get together and brainstorm for this document.
Agreed.
All right, I can put together, I can schedule some time to discuss. That's fine.
Something else that might be useful too is we should probably review the just review what the key SIGs are looking at for 132. I know they have, auto scaling has some goals, networking has goals. Just to make sure that if there's anything that that we could discuss with them, that would probably, or anything that we would advocate for or want to be involved in. And maybe the work stream leads are a good example of that, or we could just go, we kind of each of the, let's see, like autoscaling and DRA kind of have groups to talk to. Orchestration and multi-host are pretty broad. So those are examples of like, there isn't like a one-to-one SIG to work stream mapping, but generally, we don't want to, maybe I would say is, I don't want to think we want to get too fixated on projects. We want to kind of have that balance between features and projects. And the work streams are either about spawning projects or sponsoring features. And then they're both projects and features might be derived from problems. So just thinking about like a way to, keep this low, low coordination required. As we can have a lot of deep discussions, but if we have too many deep discussions, we're not actually making concrete improvements as we go to the core project. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. And once we have more concrete problems defined, I think it will be much easier to organize.
Yeah, and maybe like as an example, and Ray, sorry to put you on the spot, like is there anything that the autoscaling working group is targeting for 132? Is there something we need to do to concretely turn some of the thoughts we have into action, or is it we don't have as much of the closure on exactly what would be serving asks to autoscaling versus what autoscaling already has as asked?
No, but let me verify that. The one thing that is very interesting for autoscaling is in place updates. It's maybe a bit tangential to this working group. But actually, I'll take an AI and I'll make sure that I capture here what we're targeting for 132. So let me add that.
And I know, Jeff, you'd mentioned before the restart problem with sidecars for model servers. And that is something that I think in-place updates also cares about. So maybe making sure that we at least connect that. I think we have it recorded as a problem, but that might be something that we can use as an example to say, how do we formalize this and connect this to do we make sure that we have the right requirements on the in-place updates cap?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think we have any instrumentation requests. I know we've got the problem, looking for some examples here to kind of make sure that we've got a structure that would help us execute. We have a couple of problems that basically say hardware utilization is ineffective for measuring auto scaling. A lot of the discussion we've had is moving to that higher level. So there's some features that would be auto scaling on custom metrics. Is there anything else in the metrics domain, like Ashok's metric standardization proposal? If we don't use that from Cube, it's harder to argue it's a standard. That might be an example of something which is like, what's the next step on that as it relates to auto scaling?
Yeah, for metric standardization, I wonder what the long-term plan is. I know we opened a couple of issues to those model servers projects, but what else are we thinking? Are we thinking of any new sub project from that effort?
That's a great question. Like in the catalog, if you wanted to set up a recommended HPA for each of the model servers, you're going to have different model server, configs, and different config settings for each of the model servers are already kind of natural. you might not. You probably are going to need a different HPA for all of them. You probably are going to need a different HPA for all of them today. And then, for instance, I don't think no one's added any like Prometheus monitoring examples to those yet. I don't think we have like Prometheus rules for any of them. Jason, is that true?
Not currently.
Yeah, so an example would be, would the Prometheus rules themselves be different? One possibility would be, maybe for the standardization example, we would say, okay, well, we would like to have Prometheus rules for each of the model servers for an example. And one of the things in the rule would be showing how they connect so that you could see, which key metric. That would be one way that you could potentially have an HPA. So that, like, just trying to connect some of the dots here. Like, we've got a bunch of individual threads. The core problem is that hardware utilization is terrible for autoscaling. Would serving catalog be the vehicle? It certainly could be, just as providing a concrete example of how you go do it. Maybe there's some criteria then, which is like, does it require anything else? Like, to your point. Yeah.
There's one question in the chat. Can the LLM instance gateway implement the standardized metrics?
I think yes, that is absolutely in scope for instance gateway. So like kind of the two examples could then dovetail if we say, here's an example of how you would configure this, and it would point out that there's need for standardization. But to Matthew's point, like, yeah, the optimal one was the gateway just says, like, if you use these metrics, you get X better performance, and then everyone has an incentive to just go implement those metrics, or to make sure that the definitions are consistent, because we'll want end-to-end tests in the gateway project for each of the different model servers, and we'll need some YAML to go deploy those. If only we had some set of people who were trying to come up with standard YAML that we could use to go generate EDE tests on model servers. So there's a nice complement there. And then there may be similar, like the model caching stuff, we haven't really proved, model loading, we haven't really progressed to like proposing work there. But I do think, as that evolves, whatever technology you use to accomplish your caching, you're going to need a way to measure it. And if there is a sub-project, or if there's multiple sub-projects, or there's code in Kubernetes, it would be nice to have an EDE that verifies, startup times, or makes it easy for people to verify that on their own. So that would be how I could imagine those kind of dovetailing together as we move from problems to features and projects. Ashok, the benchmarking stuff, kind of, we'd had some discussions on the benchmarking. Are you moving to have a proposal? Like, we have I think that's one of our problems. If not, I'll make sure it's captured, which was the, just reproducing, reliably reproducing Gen AI style load balancing can be somewhat frustrating for people comparing between different model servers. That is a project that I think would complement both metric standardization as well as the gateway as well, because we'll definitely want to generate load for the gateway.
Yeah, so I'm putting together a proposal here, trying to expand on the initial doc. Yeah, I'll share that soon.
Okay. So I'll make sure that problem gets recorded if it's not already.
Okay, so Ashok, there's a new proposal on the benchmarking side of things, right? Because I remember previously you shared a doc, but it only has the benchmark API spec, but nothing further. I wonder if you have something more detailed after that.
Yeah, I'm hoping to expand that based on the feedback from last time. Right. that talk currently talks about what problems we have and what we could do. I need to kind of expand it to have a more concrete proposal of what that tool is and how that looks like. Yeah, I'll add to the talk and probably share it again here once it's ready.
Yeah, sounds good. We have some internal interests as well, and I'll make sure to pull those folks to help review.
Yeah.
All right, I captured this in auto scaling for right now, just because auto scaling, you know, you want to generate something to test auto scaling. I think the problem also applies even outside of auto scaling. Like the gateway would want something that can benchmark it. And then people trying the different configs in the catalog would also want to be able to benchmark those. So I think I'll leave it in auto scaling for now in the work stream, but it may be that as we reswizzle the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And Ashok, if you want to correct that problem definition, please do.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Anything else? Okay. Once, twice, 3 times. All right, we'll give everyone 30 minutes back then. Yeah, have a good day.